Just We the People News. Okay, not attorney, not giving legal advice. Okay, educational purposes only. Anything I say or do, it's just my opinion. It's hearsay. Alright, do your own research. Alright, so I haven't read this information, so I'm still hearsay. However, the question we got to ask ourselves at the end of this video, is this martial law?
All right, happy evening to each and every one of you. Welcome to the show. My name is Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world in our amazing country, but how we're going to fix it together. And thank you so much, guys, for taking a second to check this one out, because this one, yeah, you're going to need to send this one out, because this one should give you pause across the board, particularly since we have an election about 2.5 weeks away. This is extremely pertinent. Now, everything that I'm about to show you around the military giving itself authorization to use lethal force and assisting civilian police in times of civil unrest is linked right down there in the description box below. This was given to me as a tip from someone on Twitter. You can follow me at BradenLOA if you want to jump on there with us. But I didn't believe it. I just found all the documents. I'm about to walk through the entire thing. So as we get into that, make sure, guys, as you're filtering in, you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on if you love that freedom from coast to coast and border to border, and thank you for that consideration. And while you're doing things for me, check out these shirts, the limited time designs. You've got navy, charcoal, red, and you have the kind of khaki meets OD green. You can only have freedom if you defend it. It's flying off the shelves like hotcakes, limited time design, ending on sales Friday, shipping on Monday. This is the red one that I'm wearing, and it could not be more appropriate shirt for what I'm about to show you. Let's get into this. There's a link in the description, and thank you to each of you who have jumped on board with that design. All right, guys, so I'm going to walk through this like a normal video. I'll jump into the comments here in a second, but I want to lay this out for you, because I had a healthy dose of skepticism on this when it was given to me as a tip, but I looked into it. This is from Zero Hedge. U.S. military now authorized to kill Americans on U.S. soil with a question mark. Okay, I'm intrigued. This is question mark. Let me just walk you through, and then I'll show you the documents that I found, which are going to give you a little bit of a heebie-jeebie. Gonna be fair.
We're going to pause right there for a second. Now, in 1997, there was a lot of crap in 1997, by the way. Thank you, Clinton. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. Thank you, Clinton, for screwing us. They had a military actually had a questionnaire. Okay, and I don't know where to find it at anymore. That was many years ago when I looked this up. And it said, if you was ordered to cause blank blank damage to us to put us in heaven, would you do it? And according to results, and if I'm right, I believe it was 1,000 people. I could be wrong on the numbers. Again, it's been a while back. And 30% of them said that they would do it. Okay? Now, 30%. That would be 300 officers that would just go ahead and pew you, and then you go to heaven. Okay, if they order to on the people. That should scare you. The second scary thing is them 30% that said they would do it climb the poles drastically fast. That should even double scare you even more. So, they asked it. Personnel gave an honest answer, and they jumped the ranks by willing to do against the people. Sad to say.
Just ahead, intriguingly, of the November elections, the U.S. military has granted itself permission to unleash lethal force on the civilian population in cases of national security emergencies. Okay, you have my attention. Let me show you through this highlighted point what they're accusing from this article, then I'll show you the documentation. This is
Now remember, y'all, government really has a bad habit of what? Being absolute, vague, ambiguous, absolutely, and anybody can give their own opinions of their own take to be able to go boom boom and put you in heaven.
actually all tying together in a not cute way, all right? Bear with me while I read this for you guys real quick. As the U.S. prepares for one of the most controversial and closely watched elections in its history, election time, you guys know that, 3 weeks away, make sure you vote, a concerning update to DOD Directive 5240.01, remember that number, has been quietly put into effect. Reissued on September 27th, 2024, so a week ago, this directive governs the Department of Defense's intelligence activities and now includes provisions authorizing lethal force in certain circumstances where assisting civilian law enforcement. While the directive forbids assassination, because that would be a step too far, it opens the door to lethal interventions under the national security conditions. The reissuance of the directive that numbered, while the update might seem routine, the changes regarding the use of lethal force in domestic operations are significant. This is the part that I had to check out for myself because I almost didn't believe it. In 2016 version, the directive primarily focused on intelligence collecting and ensuring civil liberties protections for U.S. persons. I like civil liberties. It emphasizes strict oversight and the need for authorization before collecting U.S. person information. So like, warrants and stuff. However, the 2024 version expands the military's role, particularly in assisting civil law enforcement, and authorizes lethal force under specific conditions, raising questions about its use during potential civil unrest surrounding the election. Okay, so what the Zero Head article here is referencing and accusing is that there's been language changes from the 2016 to the 2024 directive for the Department of Defense, saying that now they can assist civilian police and they are authorized to use lethal force, and that's the change. Well, we're going to jump over to the 2016 directive because it's all public record, and I want to make sure I show you guys this thoroughly. Again, everything's linked. I always...
So, the states need to call the militia? I don't know. It's just a question. Does the states need to call up the militia?
Receipts. As you can see, the DOD Manual for 5240.01, that's the number that I was telling you to remember, procedures governing the conduct of DOD, Department of Defense, intelligence activities. And as you can see here, August 8th, 2016, cleared for public release. So this is all public information, all right? Now, a funny thing happens when I Command F this, okay? Watch this. Lethal force. There's nothing found, as you can see in the top of my browser. When I go over to 2024's version, DOD Directive 5240.01, same number. DOD intelligence and intelligence-related activities and defense intelligence component assistance to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities. Again, September 27, 2024, cleared for public release. This is all public data. But when I go up here to this lethal force thing, the exact same thing I just did for you in 2016, look at that. One match. Yeah, bear with me. I'm gonna actually hide this so you guys don't get sick real quick. I'm gonna keep it legit. Keep it 100. You'll have to get sick. Sorry, I gotta go down to page 12. I was gonna hide it, but that would make questions about the credibility of this. So as you can see, under 3.3 levels of authority, it's Secretary of Defense approval requirements. Okay, well that's an executive appointed position. Okay, let's get into this a little quick. We got 1, 2, and then we got A through C. The Secretary of Defense may approve any type of requested permissible assistance described in paragraph 3.2.
Just so you guys understand that executive position, okay? That is under the president's authority. Not an attorney, not giving legal advice.
Decision to approve requests for these types of permissible assistance described in paragraph 3.2 to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities are reserved to the Secretary of Defense. And this is the part that gets the entire hackles up. Part C right here. I'm just going to highlight it really quickly for our review. Assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality or any situation in which it is reasonably foreseeable that the providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. Here we go, right here, listen to this part. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated. Such use of force must be in accordance with the whole DOD thing, potentially as further restricted based on the specifics of the request.
Again, you guys seen enough videos of officers reasonable. How absolute vague and ambiguous is that? That's up to the officer discretion. And with their qualified sovereign citizen immunity, what becomes of them?
Support. I'm going to undo this really quickly and do that last little important part right here. It includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups are reasonably anticipated. What do you think they're referencing right there? It has a 6 behind it. So now, the entire accusation of the article that I just showed you from Zero Hedge checks out. Now, what does that actually mean? I don't know what it means. But I can tell you that's a little concerning and a lot of power in the executive branch with a new change to a DOD standard operating procedure about 3 weeks before an election that was quietly changed from where it never used the word lethal force in 2016 to now using lethal force in 2024. Yeah, I got some concerns. That's kind of what I wanted to get to. This was a full-on a tip from my Twitter account. So one of my viewers actually sent this to me. It's been verified. I've got everything linked. I've shown you everything. They made a pretty significant change, guys. So do with that what you will. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you one thing or the other, but I can tell you 100% guaranteed the change is actually real. There's a linked article for Zero Hedge. I looked up the DOD documents, and now lethal force is in them where it wasn't there before.
This is We the People News. Till next time. Bye, y'all.